Why, hello, and welcome to session 17 of Murmurs at the Abyss in Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. I am your keeper, Stu.
Yay!
And we have players.
Yeah. I guess I'll go first. I'm Kimi. I play Doris Daniels. I'm a exploress, Doris the Exploress, that's right. And a gunslinging Western chick.
Would you say your character is rootin' tootin'?
Yeah, I think sometimes. Absolutely, a rootin' tootin' Doris the Exploress. It's fantastic.
2 players, no waiting.
Go ahead.
Hi, I am Pooja, and I'm playing Camilla Greenwald, a librarian, freshly back on the sanity train.
Welcome to the sanity train.
That's a conversation we should probably have. Did this count as like a long rest for?
Oh, I think we probably. I think we can. Yeah. Go ahead and introduce yourself first.
At the very end of that, he told me I was no longer temporarily insane,
or
indefinitely insane.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was nice.
Anyhow, I'm CADave, and I will be playing Dmitri Andreivich Tupolev, formerly of the Russian army, currently seconded to the fight against supernatural evil. And that's a scary place. But as long as we don't have to go back to the Smiley Cave, I'm probably going to be all right.
Oh, the Smiley Cave.
Oh.
Good times. I have a GM
Especially after
here.
seeing that artwork of the Smiley Cave.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Really
yeah.
cemented the
That
scary
drawing
for me.
Minerva did.
That Minerva did is
Yeah.
super scary.
What?
It's also super scary because I used to have as a kid like night terrors, and what I had every year, like really routinely, was one about like people's faces and like talking to me in a cave, just like that. Just look at that picture, I'm like, oh, this is bad. This is a thing I never knew I needed to add to the X card list. Oh well.
All right. Does anyone remember what? Does anyone remember what happened during the last session?
I mean, I wrote it down.
Oh, good, excellent.
Yeah. We're on a boat. That's all I know.
We're on a boat.
Let me see if I can find the first page of these notes. It is a small notebook, so it is not quite as bad as it seems, maybe?
It was an
Maybe it
eventful
is.
episode, the last one. We did a lot of things.
Yeah, we did.
Because we had our cabin shootout also.
Was that
Terrific.
the last episode? I thought that
Yeah.
was the one before.
No, we started the episode with that in the woods. And then
Well, I've got...
Yeah,
Let's
I
just-
think that was a cliffhanger. The actual fight was the cliffhanger between 16 and 17.
Okay, let me find the...
maybe I rewatched the wrong episode then.
No, it's
Well, yeah, because
it's
there was the person who, when the dude came and appeared behind you, and then Jim shot it, but nothing happened.
Oh yeah, when they were at the other barn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. And then you ran through the woods to go get them, while I Metal Gear murdered a guy off the porch.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And then you charged through the door. I remember you were like, we gotta get in there. And I was like, no! You will get shot in the face. Luckily you didn't, though. It was good.
I
It worked
didn't.
out.
oh yeah.
Therefore, I was right.
Session 17 was when the fight happened at the cabin. I
Okay,
was looking at the brief incident with Isadore and Doris when the guy appeared behind Doris. I was mistaken. Sorry.
Okay, well, there's the farmer bit.
It
There
would
we go.
it would have started probably on the July 18th. I'm guessing.
Yeah, except I was real insane, so I stopped putting dates on things. Because that's the first sign of insanity.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Isadore shot the figure, and the bullet passed through with no visible effect. Doris, alerted by Isadore's shout, grabbed the silver knife and slashed at the figure. She felt it graze bone, but there was no flesh. He proclaimed himself the stranger, harbinger to the king, clad in yellow. He said the time has not yet come to announce the king's arrival, but his story had been told before, and King Aldonus may see his kingdom fall again. We saw 4 sets of tracks leading from the truck back to Lake Hambledon and then veering north. We saw a farmhouse at the end of the trail with a couple of figures on the porch. And this is myself and Dmitri. We snuck up and saw 2 dead dogs in front, and the men had shotguns. On Dmitri's suggestion, I ran to the barn and got Doris and Isadore to follow me back. Meanwhile, Dmitri created a distraction to lure one of the guards to the woods. Leaping from the bushes, he silently stabbed him in the neck and hid the body. Then, in patrolling, he found another guard at the back entrance. Returning to the farmhouse, Doris positioned herself to get a shot at the other guard in front. Dmitri positioned himself in back and shot the other guard in the back of the head. I ran into the house. A man shot at me, but missed, as Isadore burst through the front. Dmitri followed and shot the man, felling him. In the other room, I found Tesla tied up in a bed, and the bodies of the couple who lived there, presumably. Isadore broke up a set of stones under the bed, while I untied Tesla. He searched the bodies, but found nothing of note. We headed back to the barn to plan our next move. I studied the ward further and learned the system of it and the incantation. Setting this up should allow us to be alerted if someone passes through and wake the caster immediately. Isadore posited that we should become the hunters rather than the hunted and pursue Father O'Leary. He called Gale to determine his residence, and she gave us what she could. Tesla told Dmitri the car at his ambush was a gray, older Crossley Motors. Crossley Motors?
Yep.
Dmitri went to shoot the set of flats and saw the car parked in front. At the same time, Father O'Leary came down the road from the direction of the manor and entered his home. Before retiring for the night, Isadore and I cast the ward. We found ourselves at the Lord's bedside. He had passed, and a man, his son, was praying in a chair nearby. A man and 2 women's voices came from the other side of a door not apparent in the waking world. On the other side, there was a large room. President Warren Harding was inside, 2 women sitting in front of him. The women wanted to discuss a guest list, and then our dreams moved back to the standard errata. We awoke to the sound of bells tolling for the passing of Lord Smith. We went to determine whether Father O'Leary is home, and if not, to search for information in his flat. His car was not there. Dmitri and I snuck inside to search. Dmitri found a cache under a floorboard with another silver knife, burnt paper, and a note. Our Lord Hasthor has shown me a premonition. Carcosa will fall again within 2 fortnights. The handwriting in the note is more like how people would have written 400 or 500 years ago than the writing of today. There was also a copy of the play King in Yellow. We returned to the hotel with our findings, and I retired my room and began reading The King in Yellow. The others examined the note and discussed what to do about the priest. Doris and Dmitri went to ambush him, and Isadore stayed at the hotel. Definitely not to keep an eye on me. I was perfectly fine, and definitely never doing things that were terrible. After a terrible struggle, Dmitri shot and killed Father O'Leary. They escaped out the back into the woods. Dmitri and Doris detoured by the stone farmhouse to inform his wife of the terrible fate of her husband. Dmitri escorted her to town and assisted in making a report, and then Dmitri and Doris returned to the hotel. I found in the play disturbing similarities to our situation. It seems clear that Hasthor will arrive at the ball for Florence Harding's birthday. Doris booked his passage back to America on a ship for 2 days from now. The next day, I went back to the manor to speak with James. He was reading a magazine. Dr. Paul Richardson is treating him now, and his dreams have been clear since the incident at the cottage. I asked him to keep in touch, and bid him well. Tesla packed the irreplaceable components of the machine that creates portals to the dream world to bring with us, and we headed away to begin our journey home. Doris contacted her friends to see if any of them knew about the party and might be able to secure us invitations.
Okay.
Right on.
I had a few notes. I think this must have been after we ended, maybe. You guys, someone looked up and you guys decided that you were going to travel on the Olympic, which I guess was a ship that traveled, that left on that day, July 19th, 1923. So I'm assuming we're kind of fast forward unless there's any other prep anyone wants to do to get on the boat and set sail for New York. Going once, twice.
Oh, I think I'd probably want to try and say goodbye to Dr.
Kistler?
Kistler.
Okay. Well, that's easy to do. He's in London.
But that's just to be friendly,
Okay.
since he's been so kind.
I mean, we should definitely go and make sure that the puppers is doing all right.
Okay. You guys...
I mean, you know, since Dmitri never had a problem with the puppers.
I didn't. I only had a problem with the demon.
Okay. So you guys go to the London Institute of Psychiatry, I think was the name of that place. London Psychiatric Society. Oh, yeah, that's the rival organization. Okay. And you go in, and Dr. Kistler is eating lunch when you get there. And he sees you, and he sort of wipes his mouth and gets up and to greet you as you come into the sort of commissary dining room. Oh, my friends, how are you?
Better. I think things are progressing in a way that we could perhaps see light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak.
Ah, excellent. That is
But
good.
our pursuit takes us across the ocean to America. And before we left, I wanted to make sure that you knew how much we appreciated all of your help. You kindly took us in when many others would just consider that we had been criminally insane and would have left us to rot in a British prison.
Well, of course. I'm glad to have us able to help.
But I will make sure that you are kept in the loop as we discover things.
I would appreciate that very
Further.
much. Thank you. Then he's like cutting a piece of meat off of whatever he's eating, and he drops it down on the side, and you're
Fantastic.
Walk up and, like, just grab his hand.
okay.
And it's like, beware the use of the yellow sign. Hastor is watching us all.
Oh, wait, this game uses percentiles. Oh, yeah. I shall, of course. You want to say goodbye to the puppies before you leave?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Nico's.
I'm fine.
The dog kind of comes around and sniffs you.
Oh, Durlith.
Such a shaggy baby.
Yeah, I'll pet him and give him a little kiss on his snoot, and then
He flops over and shows you his belly.
Well, he sure is comfortable here. That's a good sight to see.
Oh, yeah. And the patients like him, too. He has a calming effect on them.
Oh. Maybe there's some science behind that.
Oh, indeed, there must be.
I'm gonna let Camilla pet him, too. Share the puppy tummy.
Yay.
Okay.
I'm just
I mean, that's
stoically
all I
stand
really
there.
wanted
That's
out of this.
yeah. It wasn't like I had anything I wanted to ask for. I just
Oh, okay.
felt like he really deserved a little goodbye before we left.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you guys head to the... I don't know where you go. The ships don't leave out of the Thames, do they? You got to go to ocean.
No.
I imagine.
Southampton, man.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. I see boats came up the Thames when I was in London, but I don't remember any big ships.
Yeah, they're not.
I don't think they can make it. It's just a river.
Yeah.
Although it's a oogie river. Okay. So you make your way to the port and board the ship, and you have adjoining. Yeah.
Sorry. Was Gail still there? Dr. Kessler's?
Yes.
I just want to check in on her and see if she's all right, and ask her if she's still having nightmares.
No, she said, "Oh, I'm doing much better now."
Good.
The doctor gave me something to help me sleep that would not allow me to dream, and he did that for a few nights. But no, I've had restful sleep since then.
I'm glad to hear it. Keep yourself safe.
Well, of course, and thank you for all of your help. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to assume you guys have adjoining cabins.
Okay.
So you are now on the Olympic, what I believe was the name of the boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
No, I was just saying I. Like AYE.
Okay. I had a note that Doris sent telegrams to acquaintances to see if anyone can get her an invite to the First Lady's birthday party.
Yes.
And that is on August 16.
I'm glad you had a note about that.
Yes, I do. And it's now July 19th. And it takes, 3.5 days to get across, I think is
something like that. We looked it up earlier.
We'll round it up to 4.
Yeah, less than a week.
Where would you have left instructions to reply to you? Would you wait until you got to New York, or would you have them? Well, you can't get a telegram on a boat. They could send a message, but I would have to be awfully urgent.
Yeah, I think that I would probably be just hoping that the messages would be waiting when we got to New York.
Okay, all right. Is there anything anyone wants to do on the way there?
Yeah, I don't think so.
When we pass the Titanic point again,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I am going to set up the ward for when that would be, just based on
Okay.
when our other when we passed it on the way over, and also enter the dreaming that night.
Okay. Let me find. I believe that was in this book. I wonder if I left a little thing on the right page. I probably didn't. Of course not. No, I didn't. All right. That's the one that wakes you up instantaneously If something
Yeah,
Yeah,
crosses...
if someone crosses the ward.
Got it.
Or if something crosses the ward, I guess, is
Did
the
you have
more
to-
appropriate way to describe it.
You didn't have to roll anything to do that, did you? I'm trying to remember. I don't think so.
Not that I remember last
Okay.
time.
All right. All right, so you place the ward. You're placing it around just yourself, or are you going to try to... Because there's 2 beds in your room. You want to try to
I'll
place
put it around both.
Okay. All right.
Just make it bigger.
Got it. Yeah, you do so. And you want to enter the dreaming that night?
Yes.
Okay. That one you need to make a roll for,
I'm
if I
okay with
recall
that.
correctly. Whatever your dreaming skill is.
Well, then I definitely won't be making this roll.
You never know. Don't you have a... You know what? You can add your mythos to it. That should help you.
That will help. Yes, it will. It over doubles my chances.
Okay.
I still didn't make it. It's fine.
Okay.
I
All
got a
right.
65 over 29.
At some point in the middle of the night, probably around 2 a.m., both of you wake up instantaneously. You're not groggy, you're not sleepy, wide awake. You're fairly certain the ward went off.
I am going to grab one of the daggers.
Okay.
Again.
You
I
can-
assume I have a gun nearby.
Well, I haven't. You left. You guys had to go run away from places more than once, so
Yeah, no,
you probably
but I
only
had
have
some-
one, right? At this point.
No, because we bought more when we bought the dynamite
Oh,
stuff.
okay, right. Yeah, that's right. You did.
I went and bought more. And we made those special silver bullets, too. I didn't get very many of them, but I got some of them.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
And I think we all had shotguns at the end of the cabin.
Yes, we did.
Oh, that's
okay.
right. Yes. Yeah, okay. All right.
So I'm gonna
there
grab
were, like even more weapons then.
Yeah, we got more.
Yeah.
I did not take a gun though. I think it's important to note.
Okay.
So I'm gonna grab my Colt
Okay.
because it's a little bit subtle, and I don't think I've felt that before. I don't think my character felt the ward go off before.
I don't think so.
So I think I might just be a little confused. But when I see Camilla grab her knife, I'm like, it's go time. Okay. So I grab my Colts and I'm ready to go. I'm kind of watching her for kind of cues on what's happening.
Okay. It's quiet, although you do hear people walking. Someone walks by the hall, because you can see, like, underneath the cabin door, you can see, like, shadows of someone walking by.
Camilla, what is it?
Something set off the wards.
Something from, where? Was it the person in the hallway? Could they have done it?
The wards are around the beds.
Oh. I'm gonna go over and there's a door between it, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
knock on the door for their side of it.
Okay.
Dmitri.
Ugh.
Well, that's a good sign.
What? He's a boat. I don't feel so good.
Wait. Camilla set up some wards, and she says something is near the beds.
I'll look around our room. Does it look like I see anything weird?
No. Mm-mm.
Specifically, flick on a light.
Okay.
Like, do I see any of those, like, patches of shadows that burnt me before, or...
No. You don't see anything like that. You turn the light on, and the room is light.
Everything looks fine here. I will have to apologize to housekeeping, but other than that, this ocean is very big. Well, I figure he's never been consciously on a boat before. Like he was taken to England by accident to recover after war injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I use my spot hidden to try to find whatever it is.
Okay. You may make that roll.
Sweet. 61 under 65.
Okay.
Phew.
You, like looking around the perimeter of the wards, you don't see anything. You do notice that there is some commotion happening outside.
Something's going on out there. Doris, can you check for in the hall?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm taking a look at my skills because I don't remember any of the skills I have. There's not a perception spot hidden, right?
Spot hidden. That's your perception.
That's not really like the same as like peeking around the corner, the door in the for the hall, though.
Well, that would probably be stealth. Is your stealth?
Okay.
There is
Yes, there's stealth.
There's also listen.
Stealth it is. Okay. In other words, I have very bad listen.
So you're gonna.
We can't all be librarians.
All that shooting of guns in a time before small earplugs.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you like crack the door open and kind of peek outside.
Yeah, just like barely like trying to see what's happening.
And you can see that there's looks like there's like down the. You can only see one direction, obviously, but down the hallway, you can see that a couple of other stateroom doors are open, and there are people with their night clothes on, kind of standing outside looking around.
Are they looking around? Oh, I guess I should. Okay. Did you want me to roll to see if I get seen?
See if what?
To see if I'm seen? Like, why am I
That's
rolling?
that's what the stealth roll was. Didn't you make the stealth roll?
Make her stealth.
Oh, well, then make your stealth roll then.
Okay.
I thought you did.
No. I didn't. No, I missed it.
Okay. So you do that, and there's some people staying out, and there's a man across the way in one of those vertically striped bed shirts with the little cap.
Nice.
And he looks at you and says, "Oh, madam, did you feel that?"
No, I didn't, but I did hear quite the commotion in the hallway here. I'm gonna pretend like I wasn't trying to be sneaky now.
It felt like the temperature dropped 10 or 20 degrees, and then it came right back up. It was quite chilly for a very brief moment.
Oh, well, I suppose that I was under the covers snug of my bed, and that's why I didn't feel it. Well,
Oh, sorry to disturb you.
no, it's fine. I'm glad you have a little cap on your head. Keep it warm. Yeah, you have a good night now.
Oh, and you as well.
I'm gonna go and like close the door. They're talking about a temperature change. Camilla, did you feel that?
Not specifically, but the same thing happened on the way here.
Yes.
That's why I set the wards up for tonight. We're passing the same spot that the Titanic went down.
Well, I don't know if that has anything to do with our little adventure here, but that is very disturbing.
All of these signs, all of the paintings, the dreams.
It's true.
It feels like something is happening here, but I couldn't get back to the Dreamlands to see if we might be able to find a guide to tell us.
But your wards were just around our beds to protect us. The size of whatever made the ship turn cold had to have been huge.
Massive.
Yes. It wouldn't fit in those wards. Would it just set them off by being nearby?
If whatever changed the temperature pervaded the whole ship, then it makes sense that the wards would have tripped.
That's true.
But
Strange.
it seems that the phenomenon is past now. And it lasted just the one night before. I was afraid of the dogs.
No, I understand. It's never a good place to meet them, but the hounds on a ship like this, there'd be no getting away. She kind of like looks around like she's worried, that some right angle is going to become a dog any moment.
I mean, it seems like it might be prudent if we just at least kept the lights on for the rest of the evening.
I agree, though, just for vision's sake, in case someone enters.
You never know who might stop by now that everyone's awake in the ship.
Yes. Does it seem odd to you that if this happens every time they make this journey, that they don't simply change course a bit?
Why would anyone think it was anything more than just a cold front coming through? Different crews, different passengers each time?
It's possible, but I've done my share of traveling the world, and sailors tend to be very wary.
Superstitious lot.
Indeed, yes.
I can't pretend to know the details of sailing, but if they truly were that superstitious, then they definitely wouldn't want to pass through the place where the Titanic sank over and over and over again, unless there was no other choice.
This is true. Very strange. Well, let's be wary for the rest of the trip, but hopefully, since we have continued moving on, the danger is behind us as well.
At least this bit of it.
Just gonna kind of like nod or like, good point.
Why don't you tell me a story about one of your adventures?
That sounds like a fine way to pass the time. Evidently, Dmitri is not feeling well. I wonder if we should send him some oyster crackers or something as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Really, the one to feel
I've
bad
heard
for
that-
is
I've heard that salt water is quite good for that kind of thing.
I've completely forgotten Jim's character's name.
Isidore.
Isadore. Yes. Like, he's the one to feel bad for, because I feel terrible because I'm sick, but he has to be in the room. And that's just super gross.
Aww. So yeah, I'm gonna also ring to get some tonic water and crackers sent to our friend Dmitri.
Okay. All right.
And I will tell Camilla a story of my adventures somewhere until we're both calmed down enough to go back to sleep.
Excellent. Okay. All righty. So your crackers and soda water come. They might help. I don't know. Make a luck roll.
Roll luck.
All right. Let's see. Well, I feel immensely better. I don't know. I don't know how you have sent me magic water and little baked medicine because I rolled a 1.
Oh, wow.
So I will go with I just needed to get my sea legs, and now I am going to return and become a Russian Navy officer. Maybe someday drive a silent submarine. I don't know. Like, I got nothing.
Okay.
So what you're saying is you're going to become Sean Connery.
Yes,
One
but
ping
I
only.
can pronounce S's.
One ping only.
I would have liked to have seen Montana. Out of character, I totally get why they would keep driving through the same area where the Titanic sank. Because capitalism, like,
Straight
it takes
line.
so much fuel
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
to
exactly
make the ship
why.
go an extra mile south or north.
Yeah, that could be 1,000 gallons of fuel.
Absolutely.
Well, coal at this point.
Coal, right. Because boats use a lot of fuel to move. It's insane.
So what you're saying is it's legit just the shortest point between point A and point B.
Well, and like in the era before there was GPS, like they just kind of guesstimate. Like they get pretty close, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, there's the city we're looking for. Cool." Like, I mean, you know, celestial navigation is accurate to a point, but it's not like I'm within 3 meters of X, Y, or Z spot on the planet.
Right.
Are you telling me that, like, basically the Greeks and 1920s Britain and America used the same level of accuracy in there?
Well, they had compasses.
Well, yeah, a compass and looking at the stars and figure it out. I mean, more accurate methods existed over time. That's what a sextant does, but yeah. They had better maps.
Just checking.
When some friends rented a boat and we went to Catalina by ourselves, I was at the helm. And I kept it right on with the heading we were supposed to be on. And Catalina was about 30 degrees off when it finally came into view. Now, I don't know what I'm doing, so.
Yeah, you're not a professional sailor.
Because you can keep a boat aimed one direction and the water moves underneath the boat.
Right.
So you have to adjust. Just like airplanes, like they don't just fly forward; they end up moving to the side.
They scooch
with the wind. Yeah.
Right.
But that's why they have a person assigned to like just stare at the compass, because the compass still moves when you move.
Yes.
So then they're like 4 degrees, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but you have to know to adjust.
Yeah.
For that, if you're just like, if I'm heading 180, and now the whole world has moved underneath me, I'm still headed 180, but now I'm going to a new place.
Next thing you end up in South Carolina.
Yeah.
All right.
And no one needs that.
On the way to Catalina. That's real bad, dude.
Okay.
Is that Panama? Maybe.
So within another day and a half, you arrive in. Is there a name for that port? Is it just New York? I have no idea what that port's called. Does it have its own name? Like the Port of Los Angeles?
I think it's just New York.
Okay. Well, you arrived there. And
it's just called the Port Authority. That's the people in charge of it.
Right.
Sure.
And you James V in the chat room just said the transatlantic cable for telegraph messages between Europe, UK, and America are well established in the 1920s. But I bet a ship can't tap into
they
it.
totally can.
A ship can tap into
really?
it?
Not with there was totally wireless telegraph.
I know, but I'm sure that the expense to have a telegraph sent to a ship that's underway is far more expensive than a telegraph along a wire, I would think.
I'm well off though. I've got like the max daily income.
Yeah, but it is a thing that people could receive messages.
Yeah,
still. I mean,
but it would need to be an emergency, right? I would assume that most people aren't going to spend the extra amount, plot appropriate amount of money to have it transmitted. I would assume that you're going to have the message waiting for you.
Didn't they get telegrams in Titanic though? Like, and they weren't emergencies.
They might have.
Yes.
I'm sure it's possible. It's just, I don't know. Would you think to do that, or would you wait till you got to New York? You tell me. I'm fine with it either way.
I sent them before I left, so if someone replies to me, it was up to them where they would reply to. I think I would have said, I'm going to be on this ship until I get to New York.
Okay.
So whatever is convenient to your narrative is
I'm going to imagine that most of your friends are probably cheap enough where they're just going to send it to a telegraph office in New York, and they're not going to spend the extra 5 cents to send it on a ship.
Yeah, especially when it's only a 4-day trip or whatever it is.
Why on earth would yes, I can get you into the party be so crucial that they would want to send it to a boat? That's my thinking, at least.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, so you
So we have
arrive.
to go shopping like as soon as we get back.
Right. So you arrive in New York, and there's
Shopping
people waiting.
episode.
Yay! Woo! There's a ship coming in, and there's people standing out here for no reason. Woohoo! Except maybe they're waiting for someone who's on the boat.
Yeah, that's why they'd be there.
Just professional paid
Right.
boat welcomers that are just out there going,
Yeah.
"Yay, welcome to New York!"
It's like Sinatra and his Bobby Soxers. It's like he paid girls to faint when he would sing. Well, his
that's
publicist.
funny.
It was probably his publicist, probably not
Yeah.
him personally. Okay, so you arrive in the New York harbor, and the boat is moored, and you gather your things and make your way to the gangway and disembark. And now you're in New York. And there's a whole big long line of cabs.
Yeah, we get a cab.
Okay. And you get a cab, and you take the cab. Where to?
What hotel will still let us be there?
Huh?
Like, we got kicked out of a couple hotels, and we were being investigated by... So, what hotel haven't we been to?
I don't know if you were kicked out of any New York hotels.
Well, we
I mean,
fled
the only place we stayed in the city was the
Crown
Plaza?
Crown
I think
Plaza.
the Sugarcane Club, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
you
we
you
stayed
stayed
at the
there when
Plaza.
you were kind of in hiding. And
Yeah.
prior to that, I think you stayed at the Crown Plaza or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Because
specifically...
that's where they put the bees in my car.
Yeah, and
Right.
the Hound was there, attacked
I
us
forgot
there.
about the
The bees. Yeah.
I don't think the Hound attacked you there. The Hound attacked you at a hotel in
Oh,
London.
in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we first encountered the Hound in London.
But wasn't there something that happened to one of our rooms that got ripped up here? Or was it just the car?
Car.
I think it was
Okay.
the car.
Okay.
And then
That
the
and
other
also you had someone, you were being investigated for arson as well.
Yes, that's right.
The FBI was on it.
Right.
That's true.
bar. Agent Hoover, no less.
Agent Hoover.
Right.
That guy must be a jerk.
Here, I'll be right back.
So where to?
I guess I could. I mean, there's no reason not to just go back to our respective homes, except for Dmitri, who doesn't have one here and needs a place to stay.
Well, as long as somebody has a guest room or a couch, I'd be fine.
So back to Ravenhearse?
I think so.
Okay.
I have no desire to. Well, actually, we need to stay to see if there are any. We need to go and see if there are any responses to Doris's telegram first.
Ah, yes. There's probably a telegraph office right there at the harbor. Oh, and Dmitri also got to see the Statue of Liberty
Yes.
and see the hustle and bustle of a great big American city.
The streets are not paved with cheese.
Why did they?
It was a very bad American Tail joke. Like Fido the mouse. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's gonna go get his manifest destiny, I guess. So yeah, we'll just need to check first on the telegrams.
Okay. All right.
And then when Doris gets back, or Kimi, but I also kind of want to check in on the Sugarcane Club and see if my peeps are okay.
Okay. All right. Someone in the chat room says, I felt a chill down my spine as if someone drove a cruise ship over my grave. Thank you, Riot Amot. Okay, so you pick up the telegrams first. There's a couple probably waiting for Doris. There's also...
I wonder if we could call... Did the professor who was examining the skull that Doris had brought him...
Didn't he kill himself?
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't remember if he died or not.
Well, that's true. We saw him jump off of the roof and get impaled on his fence or something, right?
I don't.
It's that second part that I apparently blocked out of my memory.
I think he just jumped off the roof.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Maybe
think
I'm
he got
making up the
impaled
fence.
on anything. I don't think he got impaled on anything.
I mean, I could check
But
back.
they,
But I
were,
do
they were
s-
taking him away. I remember they we
Yeah.
got there and they took him away in an ambulance.
Yeah, but you guys also went to to the hospital at some point for another related reason, and I think they announced at that point that he had in fact passed away.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Never mind.
looking though. My early notes on this are not in the greatest order. Look at that. Yeah, session 0, session 1, session 2, session 2.5, session 3, session 5.
2.5?
Yeah, it was that was when I was doing game prep, and then I kind of moved stuff around as I finished it.
Okay.
When he
well,
just gave up on preparing for the weird stuff we decided.
It was Dr. Albright.
Let me see if he's under, if I have his status under NPCs. Adam Chester Albright. Deceased.
He...
I have a note that he is deceased.
Oh, okay.
So I think you guys ended up going to the university hospital, and one of the attending physicians there told you that he died.
Okay, cool. Because the last thing I said I have in my notes was that he was taken in for treatment, and then we found a body in the creek.
Right. That was when. Yeah. That was when you started heading to New York City, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So yeah, he died. So you have the telegraphs or telegrams, and also there's a the New York Times is sitting right there, and it says the headline reads that. Let me find it. Back to session 17. Dawson Mine Disaster Widows March on Washington, D.C.
Oh, no. Well, I'm going to pick up a paper and see the details on that.
Okay. The sort of synopsis of it is that at some point in the past there was a massive mining accident in New Mexico that killed a lot of miners, and the widows sort of organized and started asking for some sort of protections for the government to provide some sort of regulation to protect miners and things like that, and nothing was happening. So they decided to organize a caravan, and they made their way to New York, to Washington D.C., and they're just now slowly starting to assemble. But they have a spokesman named Randolph Mason, who he's quoted in the article heavily, and he basically says that they're here to get justice for their loved ones and to make sure that a tragedy like this never happens again, etc. Things like that. And he also tells me, and there's, I didn't write down how many were killed in the mine. But there's like more than 100
Oh, wow.
widows that will be arriving in the next few days in D.C. And they have, and he put out a call to have any war veterans who are able and willing to come and help protect them in case the government responds the way this Randolph Mason assumes they will respond, i.e. violently. Yeah, you've got now. How many, Doris? How many telegrams would you have sent out? You're muted.
I probably would have reached out to anyone who I thought could have got me into that party. So
Many.
yeah. So I mean, I would assume I had multiple contacts. So I don't know how many. I mean, like, it's the fate of the world.
What's
wouldn't have been.
You wouldn't have said that though.
No,
but
I wouldn't have been like hesitating to like. I don't know if I should ask Sally. You know.
What's your credit rating?
My credit rating? I have a high one.
I know.
A really high one. I don't remember on the character sheet where that is. I don't know. I get like $600 a day or whatever.
It's one of your
down the left-hand, the left-hand column.
It's in the skill section.
Oh.
And it's really under credit rating.
Oh yeah. Credit rating is 55.
Okay, go ahead and make a roll on that.
30.
30. Oh, so you made it. Okay, all right. You get a message from Ophelia Sutton from the Alexandria Suttons.
Okay.
And she says that she received an invite, or her parents rather received an invite, but they're unable to attend it, and she would be happy to have it sent to you if you would like to go in their stead.
Absolutely. I will immediately reply saying that would be delightful. Thank you so much. I can't. Yeah, I look forward to seeing her.
Okay. Alrighty. And you give it now. They've decided to go back to Ravenhearse.
Okay.
So are you going to have it sent to that? Have them send it to... Okay.
I don't want to split up from the group, so yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Alrighty. And then...
I mean, it just felt like we don't want to stay in the city with Hoover hoovering about.
And you might want to check in with your employers.
Hoovering.
Oh yeah, I would like to still have a job.
What's an employer?
I mean, it hasn't actually been that long, is the best part of this. Like, the fall semester has not begun.
Oh yeah, it's still probably another month away, maybe a little longer.
And technically, I've just been assisting Doris this whole time.
Okay, and you make your way by the Sugarcane Club? Because I didn't write down notes on that. Because I started writing notes on the Cotton Club. I'm like, oh no, she's gonna go to the Cotton Club.
I know, and we changed it because the Cotton Club turned out to be racist.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible place. Okay, and you get there, and the place is still standing, and it looks like it's open. And well, it's not. Well, it's daytime now, so it probably isn't open. But you can see that the doors are probably open, and there's people inside cleaning or doing whatever preparatory things nightclubs do before they open for the evening.
Great. And I want to check in with Sophia and see if Hoover had been giving her a hard time or anything.
Okay. He says, I haven't seen you in so long. How have you been?
Eventful. It was eventful. I'm glad to be home. It's good to see a friendly face.
Yeah, we haven't had any problems. No one's come around looking for anyone. No one's been harassing us.
That's good. It's good to hear. I'm glad you're doing well. Thank you for your help before.
Of course, yeah, anytime.
Okay. Well, it looks like, at the very least, the trail went cold on us, so hopefully Hoover won't have too much of a bug about continuing to investigate us now that we're back.
Yeah, not even he's come by.
Oh, good. So, when you get a break, you should come out to Ravenhearse.
Oh, I will. I definitely will. Sometime during the week, maybe. This place is hopping on weekends.
Yes, well, can't abandon the money.
Yeah.
Take care, my friend. I will see you soon.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, when Dave turned around, his Hawaiian shirt looked like a trans-dimensional monster.
It did.
I'm like, what is
he
that?
got eaten by his background. That's amazing.
Okay. All right, so are you taking the cab up there? Or are you going to rent a car? Or does anyone own a car?
I don't think any of us own cars. I don't know if any of us can drive anymore.
There's a car parked in the lot.
I'll be right back. That's true. There is.
There is a car that formerly belonged to
The doctor.
Edward Friedman.
Yeah, Dr. Friedman.
Well, it seems Edward didn't, at the very least, didn't come back for his possession. I think maybe if we just take the train.
I have a little bit of drive.
Yes, but then we would need to, like, rent or steal a car.
Yeah.
And that just hasn't worked out very well for us.
It hasn't.
Like, the bees.
We'll take a cab. We're not going anywhere that's like, we don't think people are going to, people are going to come to Ravenhearse to look for us anyway, so it's not like we're going undercover or something.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not like... Well, I suppose we had to go through customs so they know that you guys have returned.
Yeah.
To America. How long that takes to progress through a paper society, I don't know.
Yeah, and we told him when we come back.
Yeah, and it assumes that they are like, they have a flag on our name at immigration.
Yeah.
They probably haven't even invented that kind of thing yet.
Yeah.
But taking Edward's car would definitely be like a giant red flag of like, if anyone was watching.
Yes.
So it seems like, yeah, train, cab, something.
Okay.
On that.
We'll say that you can take a train and then a short cab ride to Ravenhearse. Okay.
Okay.
Or is it Norwich, which is the city it's in.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember everything. Okay. All right. So you get on the train and get to Norwich, and then take a cab to the university, which I'm assuming most of you live within walking distance of the university.
Mm-hmm.
Small town and all.
Yeah, I think we all had accommodations nearby, except for Dmitri.
Right.
So he's going to stay
Maybe
with
that is student
Isadore.
housing.
Isadore would probably let him crash with them. I'm going to add that to the narrative.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think that's logical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
He said, "No, you can sleep in my backyard, but you can't come in my house."
I'll set up a tent. There you go. You can come in and use the facility twice a day. Time it wisely.
Okay. So, what day of the week is this?
Whatever day you want.
Yeah, just pick one. It's fine.
July 23rd.
So we've got 3-ish weeks until the party?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just say, called it. Now that I'm sane again, I can date things.
Yeah, you can.
I like the idea that maybe even in the middle there's a couple of pages that are just crazy scrawls. Nobody, it's not even a language, it's just crazy, like, I'm just gonna sketch in here.
Yeah.
And you just flip past that and resume back to like, okay, things are back to normal now.
Some of them are kind of weird.
You may have been trying to draw 4-dimensional art.
Oh.
Or
the pencil and the paper again.
Yeah. Oh,
I like,
yeah.
I like to think that some of my watercolors have gotten distinctly interesting. In the meantime.
Surreal.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys are at home. Oh, an I'm just looking. I just looked up. It's Monday, by the way, and the only thing that looks like only a couple things happened on this day. I'm on thisday.com. Someone named Charles Duppy, 3-time Prime Minister of France, dies at 71. That wouldn't make the news yet. So, so the are you going to go into work? Or are you just going to go home? I'm mostly asking Camilla.
Oh, one thing, Kimi, while you were gone, the lead story in the New York Times was about widows of a mine collapse converging on Washington, D.C., and their representative was calling for veterans to come and protect them because he thought the government might respond violently to their protest.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna need to go into work.
Okay.
At least tell them I'm back.
Okay.
Like, Doris is back, and, ask if anyone's heard from Edward.
Yeah. So...
No, we haven't heard from Edward. We assumed that he would return with you. Did he not?
No, he...
Let me see who you're
on
talking to first. Hold on a second.
Okay.
We lost him.
He just decided he needed some extra sabbatical time.
Yeah.
He found a promising area of study, broke off from the group to pursue it, but we lost communication after that, and were unable to get back in touch.
Yeah. Seems legit.
Okay, I'm going to assume that you're talking with Penelope Bremen, who just happens to be in the library at the time.
Penelope, have you haven't heard at all from Edward? From Dr. Friedman?
No, I nothing at all. In fact, many of us have been talking about the fact that we haven't heard anything from him. It's very strange. Usually, I mean, when he's gone out on sabbatical before, he's been pretty verbose with the letters home. And he did write occasionally, but we haven't heard from him in quite some time.
Well, I'm starting to get a little bit worried. I mean, he found some interesting areas and people he wanted to further follow up on while we were away. And so he broke off from the group, and I stayed with Miss Daniels. But I haven't heard from him since, and we didn't have a forwarding address to contact him. But if he does write or telegram, just to set my mind at ease.
Of course, yeah. I hope he's all right. I hope he hasn't come into any sort of harm. Did he say where he might be staying? Where we could get a hold of him if we needed to?
No, that's the problem. We were all staying in a rather, one of those standard
nice
lodgings
asylum
in London. And then he heard of a scientist visiting from the continent, but that person was staying somewhere out in the country. And you know how country folk are.
Very peculiar. Do you have any previous addresses we could wire to and perhaps see if anyone there has heard from him?
I'm sure I have something in my bag. Let me, I'll look and get back to you as soon as I can dig anything up.
Okay, thank you very much. Something never got mentioned, but I know before we ended the previous game, I asked what you guys are going to do with Tesla. And I seem to recall...
I thought he was coming with us.
I seem to recall Isadore saying, oh no, he's coming with us. We're not letting him stay here. It's too dangerous. Okay, I just want to make sure.
And he has all the components, the irreplaceable components of the Dream Machine.
Got it. Okay.
So we should actually set Tesla up somewhere. That
We will assume that he went here with you, and that there's all of his stuff, which is going to take up some space, is probably coming on a truck or later, like a freight train later.
I mean, the easiest thing would just be to set Tesla up as like a visiting professor at the university.
Okay.
It would be something of a coup.
Are we gonna do that under his actual name? Or are we gonna try and hide?
No, we're going to tell people he's Albert Einstein.
Or doesn't he have his own place in New York?
He does. Will you guys trust him to stay out of sight?
I mean,
No.
I'm not suggesting we just banish him, but like he does have a laboratory in New York, I thought.
I think he does.
That famous one with the weird tower?
Right. When he made the whole building shake? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Well, we
I
can
don't know
go
what
back.
part of New York that's in, but
Yeah, we can go back there later, but I don't think we want to set him up building this dream machine when we know people are looking for him. Like it's
Yeah,
like,
by
hey,
himself.
yeah. Well,
he
even
has a giant target painted right on his guts where the yogurt dog would eat them.
yes. So I think we'd keep him with us. So he's with us. He's probably also staying at Isadore's. So since I'm just volunteering him.
it's just a flop house now.
Right. I was about to
It's
say
a
the exact
bachelor,
same thing.
like that, like bachelor apartment.
Yeah.
Worst B&B ever.
I mean, they can't stay with Camilla or I. So
No, I don't think my roommate would really be excited about that.
Okay. All right. So the two of you are set up at well, he's gone. Two of them are set up at Isadore's place. Mm-hmm. So on the cab ride, well, let's say afterwards, you guys meet somewhere. Maybe at Isadore's, who's still terribly ill.
no.
He got some bad clams the first night of the voyage, and he's still in a terrible way. Nicola, he tells you, where should I begin with my assembly? And I will be in need of a not insignificant budget to get the replaceable components, because I really need to acquire some material.
This is where I think we could set him up as a visiting professorship and use the university budget.
I'm not against this idea. I just don't know if we should use his real name to do so.
Oh, I wouldn't. Not if he's a professor, because I just looked him up.
Actually-
Nikola Tesla, no degrees.
But I wasn't joking about telling people he was Einstein. It's not like Einstein's gonna come back and be mad about it.
True.
He could take his identification and live the rest of his life.
I mean, it totally explains why everyone
That's
knows
what happened.
Einstein now and not Tesla.
True. That's true.
Oh man, I'm on board. And it's not like most people have ever seen a picture of a young Einstein,
True.
especially in this time period. You know.
Mm-hmm. And if no one at the university has met him,
I mean, those are all very good points. I'm not against this.
Is that the gamble we're going to take? Do we have to
Yes.
make a luck roll to see if somebody here has met Einstein before?
Yeah.
why
I've
would you
seen
say
him.
luck? Luck would be the worst thing to make. It's all about the deception and persuasion rolls.
Yeah.
There is not a deception roll, so just persuasion.
Okay.
Or my fantastic library used to make sure that none of the professors here have worked with Einstein before.
Yeah, and all his forged documents are in order.
You pull any book that has a mention of him. Make sure there's no pictures.
I checked them all out to Edward. Dated before we left.
I don't know how much he had published by this point. Okay. So, the person that you would need to speak with... Oh, his first book came out in 1916, but then his next one didn't come out until 34. Of course, his first book was Relativity. So, yeah.
Would it have a picture, though? Did it have a picture of him in it?
Well, the version I'm looking at does, but I'm sure it's a reprint because it's an old him in color.
Oh, yeah, no. We'll just...
I mean, in our universe, we can say that his first book didn't have a picture of him in it.
That's probably a very expensive thing to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
that's a bit of a... That's so posh for someone's first book in 1916.
Yeah.
Okay, so you already know that Dr. Hugo Vasquez is the department head of the Department of Mathematics, which would at this point probably be the closest department that he would go to, because a lot of the other stuff is all life sciences and medical stuff. So who wants to go and talk to him and get this guy hired?
Doris?
I could go, but I don't think he's going to
No,
believe
we don't
me.
want you to do that.
Hello, I am Dmitri.
Hello. I make with you introducing Dr. Einstein. You give him money. He build machine.
So it'd be like fast talk, maybe?
Oh, yeah, probably.
I mean, that is what it seems like to me, because we're trying, like, that's the closest to some kind of, like, I'm trying to...
Yeah.
Well,
Alright.
I would say persuade or fast talk.
Okay, let's go fast talk.
Okay, so you're going to go to his office? We're not just doing a roll. You guys are going to get this guy hired. As
Yeah.
someone he isn't.
That's right.
I think we should go together.
Yes.
And that way I could help you with...
Maybe the two of us.
Yeah.
Not Dmitri.
No.
No, I'll keep
You
an
have to
eye
take
on
care of
Tesla
Isadore.
and make sure Isadore stays hydrated.
Yes.
It's too bad the magic oyster crackers didn't work for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm on a mission to find oyster crackers, because I think they solve all gastrointestinal distress now because they were so effective.
Nice. So, yes, I am going to go and knock on the door.
Come.
I'm going to make sure I have a bottle of something nice.
Okay.
Not too nice, but like, hey, like we just came from the UK. Yeah.
So you could go buy a bottle of Beefeater's gins down the corner and...
Sure.
Okay. Here you go. Straight from London.
I'll do like a nice scotch or something, actually.
Okay, all right.
And I'm sorry, what was his name again?
Dr. Hugo Vasquez.
Hugo Vasquez. Okay.
Department head, College of Mathematics.
Hugo! Do you remember Doris? I'm Doris.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yes.
I think we met at one of the dean's parties.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I brought you this. We just got back from good old England, and I thought you might enjoy this.
Oh. Oh, thank you very much.
You're
Oh.
quite welcome. So while we were there, the most amazing thing happened. Wasn't it amazing, Camilla?
Absolutely astounding.
Astounding. We happened to be on a boat with someone, you might be familiar with him. Some people have heard of him. His name is Einstein.
Albert Einstein?
Yeah. Good old Albert, yeah. Yeah, we've managed to convince him to come back with us, and he's interested in perhaps coming and being part of Ravenhearse for a bit, like I am, like as a a temporary lecturer or whatever it was that I got
Oh.
hired as.
I would think someone of his ability would be a distinguished guest lecturer.
Right.
And
I didn't know that was a position.
He's working on a new theory, that seems very close to fruition.
Yes, he's
But
building
had
this
a little bit of
thing.
he had a little bit of time to work on it here. It might reflect quite well on the university.
Oh, can you imagine if he published from here? That would be quite something.
Oh, that would be quite remarkable. Quite remarkable. Well,
Yes.
have him come and see me.
Of course. Are you familiar with so you're familiar with his work?
I know. Why am I rolling for him? Among the two of you, whoever has the highest luck, make a roll.
Luck or fast talk? I thought
Luck.
Fast talk. Oh, damn it.
Because you just asked him a question
Oh, yeah,
that has
you're
to do
right,
with a fact, and I don't know the answer to that fact, and I can't think of a better thing than luck in the situation to use.
What's your luck, Pooja?
29.
Oh, I have 36.
I should have gone.
Nope. I rolled 70.
Oh
Yeah, you
yes,
should've
of course
gone
I am. Yeah, I've read his treatise on relativity. I found it quite fascinating.
Oh, but you've never met him or seen him.
Oh no, of
or-
course not. I wonder if he would sign my book. And he turns around and he pulls a book off the shelf.
I'm sure he would. That would be.
And you notice
fantastic.
he's flipping through the first pages of it, and there's no picture of it.
Yeah. I think in this time that's probably more common
Yes.
than having pictures in it. Yeah.
Maybe an illustration.
Yeah, there we go. That I'm fine with because yeah. Yeah, that would. I'm sure he'd be delighted to sign that for you. He seems like a very amiable person.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll need to clear it with the chancellor, of course, but I'm sure that I'm sure we can find the budget for someone of his stature.
Yeah, with the special title and everything. That's fascinating. Anyway,
Honestly, thought that you were here as a special guest lecturer.
it was. I am.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I got the special guest lecturer title.
Distinguished guest
Sorry, I'm not
lecturer.
Oh.
Only the men get the distinguished.
Yeah, there we go. That's what it is.
Well, you're more pop culture than science.
I am not.
To a university crowd, I bet.
If you ask Doris,
Yeah,
she's
Otherwise-
but
not.
in Doris's mind.
Oh
In
no.
Doris's mind, she's the great mind of her time. Yeah. So, well, yeah, we will have him stop by and see you, and yeah, that's fantastic. Would you like me to take the book so that he can sign it and then return it to you?
Oh well, I mean, I'm going to have to meet him obviously anyway. I can wait. I can wait.
All right. I can see. Very patient person. Very nice. Well, then I will talk to him and make sure that he can do the teaching of the math that you need.
Oh, very well, very well.
And just it would be such a coup for the university if his project launched from here.
Yes.
Oh, certainly, yes. That would be quite a feather in our cap, I believe.
Well, let us know as soon as you get the answer from the chancellor, and if we can get any accommodations for him, or perhaps a laboratory or a workshop set up of some type.
Oh yeah. I'll go and speak with him shortly.
Excellent.
We're to have lunch today, so.
Oh, very nice. You should share some of that scotch with him.
Excuse me. I think I just might do that. Sorry, Canada. Okay.
And I say, good day to you, sir. And we leave.
Okay.
Said good day.
And I said good day. Okay. All right. Now the hard part.
What's the third part?
Going and tell Tesla what he has to do.
That is true. Camilla.
This is where the fast talk and persuade really come in.
Right.
Yeah. Camilla, this was your idea. So. And he does like you very much.
I think he likes staying alive, which should be as much persuasion as any of us would need at this point.
I agree.
But let's go break the sour news.
Okay, so you head back to Isadore's place, and it looks like Dimitri's. You're probably there too. Are you a tea drinker, Dmitri?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Because
But
Tesla
the
has.
British and Americans do it all wrong.
They don't have. They use samovars.
Yeah.
So Tesla makes tea, and he has, and he manages somehow to make toast. So you have little slices of toast with jams and things, and you're sitting there, and they're just sitting down to tea when you guys walk in.
Well, Tesla,
I will go turn on the stove again.
we've got your funding.
Oh, you do?
It does. It seems like the university would be very interested in having a new distinguished guest lecturer.
Well, that's wonderful news. Are they aware that I hold no degrees?
They think you're Einstein?
Oh, look at that. Hold on a second. Guess who just entered the waiting room?
Yay!
Hey!
Hopefully it actually is Jim and not a hacker. There he is.
Jim!
Hey, Jim.
We have a gym.
You're muted or your microphone's not working. Or you're muted. check.
You're so soft.
I can turn it up.
Yeah, turn it up to the volume a little bit, please.
Super soft.
Super soft volume.
10-ply.
Your 10-ply, bud. You look like you woke up from a nap.
Did kind of fall asleep.
I figured that was what happened.
It happens.
Amusingly enough, I took a nap right before the game and I set an alarm. In the dream I was having when the alarm went off is that it was 7:30.
Oh,
I woke up in a giant panic.
So we're back at the university, and we've brought Tesla back, and we've convinced them to hire him, but they think he's Einstein. So we've trying to convince him to pretend to be Einstein.
Okay. Well, guys, keep going. We'll figure out a way for me to interject.
Well, yeah, that's
I mean, we're at your house.
funny
Yeah, they're all staying at your house.
because your house has become a flop house,
oh,
and you have Dmitri
great.
and Tesla both staying there.
Well, yeah, they're sort of my favorite people, so yeah, that makes sense.
And you had some bad clams on the boat on the way over. So we've been keeping you healthy.
But you're probably feeling much better, and you're probably joining Dmitri and Tesla for tea and toast.
Yes.
Because he he'd scrounged up some bread that hadn't gone entirely moldy, and made toast. Because I'm sure you haven't had a chance to go to the market yet.
He got some bread from the neighbor.
Probably.
It's like, I hate to be a bother, but I've been away for quite some time, and I haven't had an opportunity to reinforce my larder. I was wondering if... I'm sorry, all we have is this liverwurst and some pumpernickel.
Okay.
Okay, so we've managed to get all these people to America safely.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Cool beans.
And they just dropped the bomb on Tesla that he is. They've agreed to hire him as a distinguished
And
guest
to
lecturer.
fund all of his research.
That must be a dream to him, since he's always looking for a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's one catch.
I has to just pretend to be Einstein.
But you do realize that Einstein was the one who did the math. I did the construction. I built it.
What's the difference?
Well,
I mean, that's the point, though, is I've told them that you have an eminent research project.
Yes.
That needs a place. So they're not going to expect you to lecture, even if they do. Edward used to pass on his lectures all the time. Doris, when was the last time you actually gave a talk?
Is that what a lecturer is?
As long as you're working, that's what'll matter. And as long as no one knows you are actually here, they won't come looking for you.
But if word gets out that Albert Einstein is teaching a math class here, won't every math student scramble to try to be in that class?
We're long past enrollment for the fall semester. And then once your work on this particular aspect is done, you can either renegotiate with the university to not actually teach a class, or move on. Whatever you feel like would be the best thing for you at that point.
Whenever I'm at a party and I don't know what people are talking about, I just tell them a story that's interesting. I bet if you got in front of a group and you told them a story about something that with you and Einstein, you'd be fine.
It is academic work. It really sometimes requires little justification as long as you can provide some progress. We can maybe use a term, we can fake it until we make it.
Okay. Do you happen to have any books on mathematics here in your house?
I happen to know a librarian that might be able to help
Check out all
you.
of Einstein's books.
Oh, I think I should probably start with something more rudimentary. When
It's
does
probably more important for you to know more about his life than his actual mathematics.
Just teach about the machine you are going to be building. You know
Maybe
how that
not
works.
that. I mean, we don't want the college
Well,
students
about
to another
like
dimension.
the individual components, not like, oh look, here's the way to go to the horror zone.
Well, I know for a fact that you are at least somewhat intimate with physics in general. And I just go over to my bookcase and I grab some physics textbooks because it's sort of like a side hobby of mine.
Oh, okay.
And I go, here are some books just on basic practical theory, and we can move to things that are a little bit more advanced later. But this will at least get you talking the same language as everyone else when it comes to the math. It'll make it a lot easier. I can spend some time with you, and we can go over these things. I know that it could be nerve-wracking trying to go into something without having mastery of the subject.
Just tell them you have a headache and that you'll discuss it with them at a later time.
Oh, okay. So where do I have
really,
my?
the important thing is just that you get the laboratory.
Yes.
That is true. Where should I have the lorry bring the equipment?
We're hoping to find that out very soon. As soon as they approve, you and Einstein having a laboratory here.
Did they say how long that would take? Because I do need to get started.
Oh, they said they were going to do it right away.
He
Oh,
was
very
having
good.
lunch with the Chancellor, which
Right,
would be, I
yeah.
suppose, now. So, we should be able to get it set up. I mean, if you're able to impress upon them the urgency and the immediacy of results, maybe
Oh,
they should be able to set it up in the next couple of days.
could you convey to them that urgency for me? That would be appreciated. Thank you.
Might be better coming from me. I'll go ahead and pen a letter to the dean.
Okay.
Very good idea.
Okay. The equipment should be arriving, I believe, tomorrow. And if they could have the facility set up I will need probably a few generators. That's about it.
Oh.
I don't know why I can't do a Serbian accent. I even looked it up when we started the game and tried, but Serbian accents are hard.
This helps us. Like it seems like more like Einstein this way.
This character sheet seems so old.
You know, so long ago, back in the before times.
So Tesla takes the book and says, "Excuse me, I'm going to go read."
I will be here and available if you have questions.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, I should. Did you guys clue in Isadore about what's going on, or what is starting to happen in Washington?
Oh, yeah, I probably would have made some conversation while we were drinking
It has
water.
to do with the story of the King in Yellow and the
birthday party.
meeting that will bring forth
Not
bad things.
directly. There was some kind of a huge mine accident in New Mexico, and over 100 miner widows are coming to DC to protest, and there was a call for people that might want to help defend them against government tyranny.
That's not
Which-
topical at all.
Yeah.
Oh, here.
Uh,
Is this the right one? Hold on a second, because this actually, I think there was a reason I picked this mining accident, not simply because it happened in 1923.
Just a side question. This is the first time you're using this new camera. How does it look?
Good.
I've been
Yeah.
trying to improve my equipment.
It looks very nice. You look very dashing.
Okay. The second Dawson disaster was a mining accident on February 8th, 1923 in Dawson, New Mexico, which killed 123. Prior to that, in October 22nd of 1913, was the first Dawson mining disaster, which killed 263. And the second mining accident, many of the men who died were descendants of the men who died in the first mining accident.
Oh, that's awful.
So now you've got mothers and grandmothers, probably,
Oof.
and
two
widows.
generations. Yeah.
Two generations of angry families who are now descending on Washington. That's why I picked that one, because there was plenty of mining accidents in 1923. Let me tell you.
That's awful.
It was pointed out just a little while ago in the chat that 1922 is when Einstein won his Nobel Prize.
Oh no!
Oh. Thanks for sharing that, Dave. We're
That's
making
awesome.
On us.
That's
Yeah.
true, and they're very excited to have a Nobel laureate at the university to be the first one.
Shit.
I think that's fantastic.
Okay, so he's up reading. Who wants to make the roll to see if they can make a fake Nobel Prize medal?
I don't have blacksmithing. Like metal
What
casting.
skill would that be?
My credit rating is not high enough to buy that much gold.
We don't have to make it out of gold. I'm sure it isn't made out of gold.
I mean, he probably left it at home. He didn't bring it with him on his vacation.
Yeah, people don't often just carry their prize.
Just wear around their Nobel Prizes.
Oh, of course he's going to wear it around. Just show it with his professor's hat on. And...
No, he's not.
That's funny, though. So he's definitely a lot more famous than I figured he would be.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, the Nobel Prize is 100% gold.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Even now, today?
Well, it's 18 karat gold plated with 24 karat gold.
Oh.
oh,
So it's not
That's
pure
bad.
gold.
18 karat is pretty good. 18, that's
What do they
pure
put?
gold.
What do they put in? Nickel or something to?
I don't know.
We'll just bake a cookie and we'll wrap it in gold foil.
Wait, what?
Find a
Why
chocolate
are they
one.
stealing a Nobel Prize?
The chat
No,
room
but-
happened to very helpfully mention that he won his
No.
first Nobel Prize in 21, 20?
22.
22,
Like
1922.
last year.
So by this point, Albert Einstein is a Nobel laureate.
Thanks, chat room. Thanks for that. We appreciate the help.
Whatever. Stu's the one messing about with history, man.
Right.
So,
No,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm just saying, since he got his guts eaten out by a yogurt dog, we're free to do what we please.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure
did
that
we-
he's not going to be upset.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the yogurt dog law of 1902.
Did we go through his pockets when he had the yogurt dog incident? Just maybe he was carrying around his Nobel Prize with him.
I don't think... No, the dog totally would have taken that. Come on. That's hanging on the yogurt dog's wall someplace.
It has good taste, yeah.
It's probably collecting Nobel laureate souls.
Oh, screwed up serial killer. I only kill people that have won awards.
And only when they have them on them.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's upstairs. He's upstairs studying
Okay.
to teach math to college students.
That is not
It was
the
also
point
pointed out
here.
that-
I feel like he missed the point of this entire ruse.
Yeah. It's amazing how often guest professors actually don't work with students. Like, it really is very common. Like, sometimes they'll have, like, graduate students who come help them on a specific project.
Oh, see, when in my department at Cal State Long Beach, of the four or five professors that made up my department, 3 of them were distinguished guest lecturers.
Oh, yeah. And they taught regularly?
They all taught classes, and in fact, you were assigned to one of them as a sort of career counselor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they actually, after we graduated in our senior year, and during the summer, we would get calls from them saying, "Hey, I got a job lead for you," because they were actually trying to place us into positions.
That's amazing.
And all of them were people that you probably never heard of, but one of the distinguished guest lecturers was the guy who worked for Lee Iacocca when he was brought back to Chrysler to get it off its deathbed, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he
Wow.
was. Yeah. He,
Ours were like came in as directors and taught you
Yeah.
about how much you could be abused and get away with it in theater,
Yeah, like the ones that...
and then we never heard from them again.
Yeah.
mine were all working people working in the field, so they were like, we want to.
I mean, technically, ours were working in the field.
Right.
They just didn't give a damn if we did.
And the professor
Which
had
is its own like major life lesson when it comes to the arts.
absolutely. Our head lecturer was Harvard educated, and he talked like this. He really did. He actually clenched
That's
his
funny.
teeth when he spoke, and his mouth would go wide, especially his lower lip.
All right.
Very hard to understand when you're sitting in the back of a classroom. Anyway,
Did
I'm
he
sorry.
call his wife Lovey?
Oh, lovey.
In any case,
All right.
Tesla has
He's upstairs.
missed the point.
This could
So-
go badly.
Eh. As long as he gets the machine made and
It doesn't have to last that long.
This is true.
Like, this ruse doesn't have to be a 2-year visit. It can just, well, I've been called away. And then we find some way to condemn the room that the machine's built in while we use it.
You know, this is really just a dodge. We can't really start concentrating too much on the specifics. We just have to
I mean,
deal with it as we go.
if we make it through after the next 3 weeks, then we'll worry about it then.
All right.
I'm going to say the term is going to start 1st of September, or whatever the first Monday is in September.
Okay.
How many tickets were you able to procure, Doris?
A pair of tickets, I suppose. Was it 2, or was she just going to be able to get me in?
I would say 2, but if you make a successful luck roll, it will be
Okay.
2 plus their 2 lovely children.
Ah, okay. Let's see.
That Dahlia in the background.
I think that was Dahlia.
No, I did not make luck.
Okay, so you got for Mr. What's the name?
Sutton?
Yes,
Sutton, yeah.
Mr. Robert Sutton and guest.
Well, I have two, and one of them has to be a gentleman. Oh no, we're not impersonating them. They just gave me their tickets, right?
It depends how closely people look at the invitations. I mean, this isn't like a state dinner or anything. This is a birthday party.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, yes, hand me your invitation. Mr. Robert Sutton and his wife, blah, 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 blah. There won't be that sort of thing. Because this isn't like a white tie event, I wouldn't think.
Right.
This isn't a state
Luckily,
function.
we're not. This isn't taking place in Britain.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just hand them the invitation with the name crossed off and a new one written in.
Yeah, I have the ticket is for Mr. Sutton plus one.
And I just looked up, Warren Harding was born in Ohio, so I'm sure he's not going to have some sort of butler announcing people as they come in. Sorry, no offense to anyone who's born in Ohio.
Well, you never know with the nouveau riche.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah, if you have a butler and you're from Ohio, you should write into the show and tell us.
If you have people announced coming to your wife's birthday party.
Wait, if you were born in Ohio,
Daughters.
got elected president,
daughter, sorry.
and then have a birthday party, then you should let us know how.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I do wonder, like, what's the security like? Because he's the president, so it's the president's, like, family. And I know what security would be like in the modern times, but...
I'm sure the Secret Service existed, and they've already had a couple of assassinations. One was Garfield. That would be the most recent one. That would have a couple decades ago.
Not sure. I'm gonna look it up. Because I was just looking up Huey P. Long, and that was 1925.
Well, you know, I'm pretty sure that they would make sure that nobody came in with weapons.
Certainly, yeah.
But
Certainly.
I'm not sure, you know, whether they would do, you know, thorough background checks and keep eyes on people. The security is really different in this day and age. I mean, there's no cameras and shit.
Garfield was 1881.
Right, so that's almost
42
over 40
years
over
ago?
40 years ago, yeah.
He
What
was
about-
also from Ohio.
What about McKinley, who was also from Ohio,
Yes.
Conspiracy.
assassinated in 1901? So that's 22 years ago. Oh, that's right. It's the curse of the zero. I forgot about that. They're all going to fall on that thing. Every president elected in the year that has zero in it died in office.
Really?
Up through Reagan. Reagan was shot because I remember I had a professor in college, or in high school, or junior high school, who he had talked about the curse of the zero, and then like 4 days later, on the radio, they announced that Ronald Reagan had been shot.
Oh wow.
And he walked as soon as we walked into the classroom, he went like this, made a zero with his hand.
Made a zero
But
in his hand.
But he lived.
Wow.
But yeah, before that, every president that was elected in a year that ended in a zero died in office.
Interesting.
They don't talk about that anymore because it got broken. Because the curse of the zero ended somehow.
Interesting.
Well, it's a good thing.
But in any case, this situation, we're gonna assume that it wouldn't be all that difficult to get in, since Ophelia didn't feel like it was that big of a deal to give you her parents' tickets, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, this wouldn't be like a state function. If it was a state function, I think that would be different.
Okay.
And I think that if we go in there like we're supposed to be there, we can actually just get in the door. It's I think the more difficult thing will be in once we actually start mingling. If they do announce our names, people will be expecting those people there and might be looking for them, and that might raise suspicion. So whatever we're doing, we should probably do it relatively quickly, because the longer we're in there, the longer we stand to be discovered.
It's true.
Agreed. But we also need to figure out, I mean, So we know when the party is, but it does also feel like if we wait until the day of the party, it's going to be too late.
Also agreed. We need to take some actions before the party. We can't put all our eggs in one basket, as it were. But I don't know what else to do. Is there something you can do with your magic ward stuff, or that we could prepare ahead of time, or?
That doesn't keep anything out, it just alerts you when something is there.
I see. There's no way to tweak it or change it?
I could start. Isadore, do you think we could maybe pool our efforts here and see if possibly we could change something? Develop something new?
Certainly willing to give it a try. I've never done anything like that before, but yeah, I mean, it's worth it.
But also, there must be either more people here who were involved in Abigail's group, or another group closer to the president or something. There must be another cabal.
I think it's likely that you're right, because either that or Abigail is being very controlling about what's going on her own. But I think it's probably fairly good to assume that she's going to have some more people working for her or doing her bidding, whatever you want to call it. How do we find something like that?
And would that set off your wards? Would someone who is serving that purpose, or is it only animal or beings from the other place?
The wards ward against anyone who crosses them. Anything that crosses them.
Ah, I see.
But they're limited in scope. And
maybe we can tie the ritual to the symbol. Usually these cultists have the symbol on them in some way. Maybe we can alter the sigil itself to be responsive not only to motion, but to the actual presence of the sign itself.
That would be very helpful. Although it would only go off one time, or do they continue to go off?
It's like a tripwire.
Got it.
Though, did we track down everyone who was part of Abigail Amherst's circle here before we left?
Well, the name sort of fell in our lap. And I don't mean to derail the conversation here, but has anyone heard from the federal police
They have
since
not
we've
bothered
arrived
us
back?
since we've arrived.
No.
But we did not tarry in New York very long.
But Agent Hoover never bothered the Sugarcane Club or anything either, so it's possible that they had other leads.
How long were you guys gone? Like maybe a month, 3 weeks?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we headed out at like the beginning of June.
And you got back, like 6 weeks maybe?
Yeah, so it's between 6 and 8 weeks.
Because of the fact that a lot of you guys may have game notes, because I noticed, I didn't make copies of them, Dave, but I noticed that there was a bunch of like cards with a bunch of notes on it. I don't know if those are Dmitri's or if those are the previous character. But I will just...
it's kind of a mix, but it's okay.
But just for a... for an ease of figuring this out, there are 8 people, I think.
And we know at least 3 of them are dead because...
you found one person in Abigail Amherst's apartment.
And so 4 of them are dead because there's the person who set off the locusts. is dead.
I'm trying to see which one that was.
There were 2 people who set off the yellow fever, and Abigail Amherst is dead.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out like where I wrote down where the.
I didn't think that we had eliminated all of them for sure, because I remember we were relieved to get on the boat and go to another continent, hoping that we would get away from crazy cultists.
Okay.
The narrator then informed me turned out to be a lie.
Hector was involved with Abigail and was one of the first victims of the Manhattan yellow fever outbreak.
Yes.
So those were the 2 for yellow fever. So there was Abigail and her bow. But there was another body in the other town where we found the yellow fever.
The one that was strung across the creek, correct?
Right.
Not the creek body, but there was the hotel room body.
Oh, that's right.
That was
That's
moving.
right. That was a woman, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you had the guy who was strung across the water. So that's 4? Is that it?
And then there was at least one of the remaining ones that we have not found a body for has a missing hand.
Right.
Yes. So we've seen 4. Oh, here we go. The registry names all New York locals. Pierce Murray, who is a research scientist / professor of biology. Abigail Amherst. Mary Duncan. Samuel Campbell, who is an etymologist. Graham Stone. Terrence Sharp. Drake Lambert. So Abigail, Samuel, Terrence, Drake are all dead.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Pierce, Mary, Graham. Pierce, Mary, and Graham. For sure. We did not follow up on to find corpses. At least I'm assuming these little X's by their names mean they're dead. And I think part of the reason why we didn't follow up on all of them was because we were originally just looking for the Manhattan residents, which were Pierce, Abigail, Samuel.
Well, that's where we happen to be too, so.
Yeah.
So the short answer is no, they're not all accounted for.
Great. So that's our first. I guess that's our first lead.
Okay. Then we should jump on that as soon as we can.
Agreed. In retrospect, I shouldn't have just closed that specific page. It had literally all the names.
A messenger arrives and says that that the chancellor and the mathematics department head would like to invite Mr. Einstein to dinner this evening to discuss his prospective temporary position at the university. It'll be held at the faculty club, which is a sort of smallish restaurant sort of watering hole. That's
Okay.
not actually a private establishment. It's just called the Faculty Club.
And there's a letter that comes inviting.
Yeah, a messenger comes by. I have a message for you. For Mr. Albert Einstein.
Oh, no, yeah, right here, yeah. I take the message and I go, I'll see to it that he gets it. Thank you so much. And I go to the group.
Oh, you leave him hanging, man.
Oh no, I tip him.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I mean, I'm not rude. But I go to the room. I go to the group with the message going, well, this is a little intense.
Would it make sense for me to try to be Albert Einstein?
No.
Leave Tesla free to work on...
The point is that Tesla needs the support to work on his machine.
Actually,
it would. You know what we could do is Dmitri could be his companion, a secretary.
Research assistant.
yeah, research assistant, attaché, whatever.
A valet.
Yeah. But do you think that it might be a little bit better in our interest to sort of reply back and go, I'm very sorry, but the beginning parts of this, while I'm expecting and assembling equipment to prep for my experiments, I really can't spare the time. If you have any questions about my work, I can certainly point you towards some of my published books and papers to set you in the right direction.
He needs to give them details on what he needs. Because the point is that he needs certain components, he needs space, power. If he can just convey those tonight, especially because he needs the space as soon as possible. Isadore, why don't you go with him? If you and Dmitri both go, you can smooth over any inconsistencies or suspicions and make sure that he gets what he needs.
Okay, well, I'll go have a conversation with Tesla about it and make sure that he's prepared and knows where we're going with it, and I'll hold his hand through it as best I can. I, of course, am absolutely no expert, but I'll at least be able to try to sidetrack the conversation if it gets to that point where it gets a little bit too difficult. I'll go with him. I was hoping to avoid this for a little while, but apparently impossible.
I have every faith in you, Isadore.
I thank you. That does bolster my confidence significantly. But nonetheless, I think it's time for us to have a little conversation. I'll have a little conversation with Tesla. We'll get prepared.
Okay.
I'll go up and it says, Mr. Tesla,
No, yes,
sorry to
Isidore.
bother your studies, but I have just received this note, and you've been invited to a lunch to discuss your work. Well, Einstein's work. I think this is a great opportunity for us to go in there and start securing the space and equipment that you're going to need. I will certainly help you dance around any somewhat difficult questions, but I'm hoping that the people that we're meeting with aren't necessarily experts as well. So hopefully we'll be able to keep vagaries and details to the side and just present a good show and simply communicate our dire need for the equipment and space that we do need. So prepare yourself as best you can. The lunch will be on, tomorrow afternoon? Was that what we're setting up for, Stu?
This evening.
This evening? Oh, it's a dinner.
Yes.
Dinner is going to be set up at this hour for this evening. I will also be preparing. All right, do you have any questions?
What sort of questions are they going to ask me?
They're going to want to know about what kind of things you're going to research. Stick to the hardware. Stick to what you know that's related to it. If there are some hard physics questions, we could basically sidetrack it by going, you know what, this would be better explained later when I have a chalkboard and I can actually explain the math and go through it. It's a little bit more difficult to just go over cocktail napkins and a pen. Sort of try to sidetrack them from that and just keep it a little bit on the side. But things that you do know about, go ahead and expand on with some conservation, of course. But keep them interested and keep them keen on giving us what we need.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll leave you back to what you were doing. I'm going to go prepare myself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just looked it up. Guess where Albert Einstein was in July 10th, 1923?
I don't know.
Giving his Nobel laureate lecture at the Nordic Assembly of Naturalists in Gothenburg, Sweden. It's where he broke history.
Yeah, that's definitely not happening in our timeline.
No.
Thanks, Stu.
On July 10th,
Thanks for breaking history.
In July 10th, he was probably in Hamlin and building the dimension machine. Okay. So he starts reading again.
I'm gonna also start, going over through some of the, side magazines that I've had on Einstein's work that I've just kept for reading and entertainment. Collect them and just sort of review them a little bit. See if I can get myself in the right mindset to be helpful.
Okay.
I go, Dmitri, I think that the best thing that you can keep your mind on is sort of just simply observe the conversation. If things go super bad, maybe you can provide some sort of distraction, and see if we can actually eject ourselves from this uncomfortable social situation.
Things go super bad. I could kill Chancellor.
I do not want to stifle your creativity, but if we can come up with a slightly less violent method of doing
I
so.
agree. I was joking. I could pretend to be a little intoxicated and perhaps spill drink.
That's perfect.
Mess up anything written on napkins, so they cannot tell if it was bad math.
This is very uncomfortable, but I think that we have made every preparation we can in just a few hours. Hopefully this will go by quickly and it won't cause us too much trouble.
I would ask if I could borrow some money to purchase a new suit to wear to respectable.
Oh, here, I write down an address, very local, in some directions. I go, this is my tailor. I have an account with them.
Okay.
Go ahead and get yourself something sensible. I am not a rich man. Get yourself something simple, sensible and nice, and make yourself look good. I think that's a good idea. I have plenty of things in my closet.
Well,
but you are a little
Dmitri
taller
doesn't
than
have.
me.
He just goes and has super high water pants.
Yeah, I know. It just wouldn't work out. I just, the way I picture your character physically compared to mine is radically different. It would not be good.
But yeah, I just something. I do not require much, just to have a change of clothes would be useful.
Well, it will be somewhat limiting because you will definitely be taking off the rack and adjusting from there. So let them know that you need it for the evening. Your choices will probably be somewhat limited, but you'll look at least like you belong there somewhat.
Pretty good. Because I think maybe Doris bought him like a very nice suit to go on the boat. Because we were going to be like first class passengers on the boat.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would do. That's fine.
But I think that that's probably a little too fancy to be like, I'm just the valet or bagman for Einstein. Like, that's not a position that pays a ton of money.
Not only that, but you're in a new country, you're completely alone, you're helping us out, you have nothing, basically. It's my pleasure to provide you at least with a change of clothes.
Yeah.
If not a place to sleep, so that's not a problem. My credit rating ain't great, but it's enough for a suit. Doris, if you're around, you seem to be pretty plugged into the publishing world. Do you know any investigative reporters or anybody by reputation that you might be able to coerce into maybe doing some research for us? Those people seem to be able to get at the bottom of things a lot faster than most.
Are you checking your character sheet?
Out of character,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say, you attempting to go somewhere else to get research done is a blatant attack on Camilla.
No, it's not research, it's investigation. There's a difference.
That's true.
You can make a credit rating roll.
Okay.
I'm talking the Doris.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. My credit rating
That's the closest thing I can think of.
Yeah. that
Wait,
seems-
didn't we establish that you had a reporter contact before? Because you went, when it came down to the skull in the book.
Oh,
the photo
no,
shoot-
it's my publisher.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, because my publisher, I don't remember if it was a reporter contacted my publisher, but I went and visited my publisher a couple times.
Okay, I thought you had gone to a reporter as well to, like, seed a story about your amazing find.
Oh, I did. You're right. But I don't think it was a contact. I think I just walked into the New York Times or something. I was like, hey, I'm important. So I guess I made a contact, but yes, I made it.
You made it. Okay.
So my credit rating is 55. I rolled 30.
Alexis Murphy, reporter for the Norwich. I forgot the name of the newspaper. The Norwich newspaper.
Okay.
Used to work in New York, in the city.
Oh, very alliterative.
Perfect.
What was your name again?
Alexis Murphy.
Yeah.
And you know that at the hour of the day and the fact that it's Monday, she would either be out investigating or at the office. And what's happening?
So where exactly is this dinner taking place?
It's a little sort of I guess you could call it like a pub, just on the outskirts of the university.
I am. Is this place frequented by university people? Then I take it sort of like a hangout.
Yeah, mostly faculty. It's more expensive, so that not a lot of students go in there, which is probably why the professors do. Probably set up by design that way.
All right, I'm going to go in there.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, friends and I are going to have a little get together. Some important people are meeting. I really want us to have a very good time. And I slip him a few bucks and I go, if you can make sure that all the pours are really heavy for that get together, I would truly appreciate it. And I slide the bill over.
Why, absolutely, Doctor.
And I return the wink.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll allow the evening to go by quickly.
Can't hurt. Alrighty. Anything else before your impending dinner?
Oh, no, wait. It's still Prohibition, right?
Oh, shit! Damn it! You're right, it is. I keep forgetting that.
Never mind. Retcon that completely.
Private club.
They-
Private club.
And they still serve alcohol. It just,
Okay, then
they do
then
it discreetly.
We'll stay with that. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure that we're still on the right timeliness tone.
Right, you just would have phrased it differently. I'm
Yeah.
not saying anything illegal would happen here, but... Right.
All of my friends have a terrible cough, and they will need some medicine.
And a lot of it. Okay. Any other preparation before your...
No.
Okay.
I'm basically just like I said, just sort of like trying to refresh myself up, and I'm really, really nervous about this because he's not so much the lying type, and he's not really great at it, but he's going to give it his best shot.
Okay.
Lie with the truth, Isadore. Lie with the truth.
Kernels of truth will save me. That's exactly right.
There you go.
Because
Although,
it's not
let's
like
be
it's
real,
the end of the
like,
world or
it's not
nothing.
like it's not like Camilla knows how to pull one over on people. She's just very persuasive.
Yeah. Well, Camilla has a gift of gab that's different, though. She does have.
I mean, that's the exact opposite of what she has. That's what I'm saying. I have the base 5% fast talk.
Yeah, same here. All right, so let's just have this dinner, man. Let's get
Okay.
it.
All right,
Get it out of the way.
you and Tesla / Einstein and Dmitri, the manservant, valet,
Yeah.
show up. And you see Professor Hugo Vasquez. He's from the department head of the Department of Mathematics. And you see Dr. Charles Evanstone, who is the department head for medical science. No, I'm sorry. No, not him. Robert Canton, who is chancellor of the university. And they're sitting at a table. And they have glasses of soda pop in front of them.
Okay.
Something like perhaps like a ginger ale, sort of
Do that.
amber color.
Doctor.
Nobel laureate, doctor.
Yeah.
Russian
Yeah,
guy.
You sit down.
Okay.
Says, very kind of you to invite us to dinner. We were still settling in from our long travels and trying to get some of the particulars of our work settled.
Oh yes, I'm very interested in your work, by the way. This is Robert Canton, the chancellor.
Dr. Canton, that's very kind of you to say. We're also very interested in getting the ball rolling on this. Unfortunately, we don't seem to have sufficient resources to really get this thing started. There's some equipment that Professor Einstein... I'm sorry, I have a question for you, Stu.
Yes.
Does Tesla speak German?
I was just wondering that. What's your luck? I'll roll your luck for him to see if he.
All right, sure. What is my luck?
I just realized.
Actually was, like, historically, Tesla was known for speaking a lot of languages.
Oh, he was. Okay.
Yeah, he was kind of a polymath type of dude.
Polyglottal.
Yeah. Well, he had a lot of talents.
I'll just look it up.
German, French, English, Latin, Italian, Hungarian,
Oh,
Serbo,
yeah.
Croatian, and Czech.
And he had an eidetic memory, which is why he spoke 8 languages.
So
okay,
beforehand,
yes.
Oda says, you only speak German. Keep that in mind.
Right.
And I basically go, unfortunately, do you speak German, Professor?
No. Is this the professor or the chancellor?
The Chancellor.
Oh,
well,
no.
he's a professor too.
No, I'm
Professor and
afraid I
Chancellor.
don't. I speak English and I speak a little bit of Italian and, of course, French. But no, I never actually picked up the Germanic language.
That's what he's fluent in, and it's very difficult for him to speak outside of that. So it may limit the specificity as to a lot of these questions. We've actually managed to muddle through a little Latin, but mostly we've been speaking the language of mass. I'm only a facilitator anyway. As you know, I'm an archaeologist. It's not really my center of expertise, but I'll try to help with the conversation as best I can.
Oh, that would be quite kind of you. We'll try not to make it too technical.
And I basically go to him and what do we and say and basically say in Latin, can you write down can you draw some specifics of the machinery that you'll be using and the needs that you'll need for that? So we start sort of going through having little generator drawings and drawing lists of things that he needs and needs sort of facilitating. Says, see, these are the things that we sort of really need to get into in order to get the research actually going. Bullshit. Trying to use the language barrier and any type of side anything. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just basically trying to grease the wheels here.
Got it. All right. They ask a few questions. The chancellor seems a little when Tessa starts giving the specs for the generators he will need. The chancellor starts he's slightly taken aback. You can see that in his face.
Chancellor? Now, I've proposed things to you in the past before, and I know that look. There's definitely some concerns. Let's see what we can set at ease.
Well, the concern is budgetary. I mean, what exactly does this machine do?
This machine is for an experiment that has to do with the attenuation of electric tension and ionic flow that will allow the transmission of direct electron connective energy from one source to the other through a pocket within the etheric atmosphere. So what we're talking about here is a transmission of energy and proving the physics behind the actual differentiation between the forces of gravity, the magnetic force, and of course the electron force that flows within the actual atom. He seems to be dealing with some things that have to do with quantum mechanics that are very new and seem to be revolutionary in the field. So in order to be able to prove these theories true and basically revolutionize the way that we look at power, it's some equipment that we are definitely going to need.
He sort of looks over at Dr. Vasquez, who
see, there are a lot of short-sighted men that were basically going against this research, and I assure you it seems fantastic, but in Britain I actually saw some demonstrations of this, and I can tell you it's nothing less than jaw-dropping. Literally, you cannot believe the ramifications of what this brings. It is extremely important, not only to this nation, but the world as a whole, so that we may enjoy our lives and continue. All true, by the way.
Well, I rolled a 90 for the good professor's science/mathematics skill. So that failed, of course, even though he's a very brilliant mathematician. And so he finds the whole thing absolutely fascinating and revolutionary. He actually he kind of nods back to the Chancellor, sort of giving him the sort of nonverbal thumbs up, or non-manual thumbs up.
I do understand that it's difficult for private organizations like this in order to be able to draw the resources that are needed to do this research. But I'm telling you right now, if we don't do this ourselves here now, no one else is going to do it, and the ramifications are dire.
Well, it sounds very interesting. It sounds very interesting. I think I can probably move some things around in the budget to acquire much of this. Perhaps we can. I could make a few calls and see if there's a grant that we could perhaps tap into. So yeah, I'm satisfied. Anything else from you, Dr. Vasquez? And Dr. Vasquez says, "Yes, I'd like to talk about his class load. Obviously, he's working on a very important subject, but to have a guest lecturer, it's nice if he gives lectures. And I would like to. It's too late for us to offer a class, and I don't know if the good professor would be capable of dealing with an entire class, but it would be nice if we could have him come into some of the advanced mathematics classes, perhaps a time or two during the semester, to give a guest lecture."
I basically repeat that in Latin to him, and I sort of just give him a nod, and I just agree. You know?
Yeah.
Well, you see, he also brought his graduate student assistant, Dmitri,
Hello.
who would be able to help with some of that workload on the side. But I have already spoken to the good doctor, and he is very interested in contributing as best he can to the university and giving out some lectures. But I think that what we had discussed, perhaps maybe working with the language arts people and him writing down a lecture, having them maybe translate it from his native language, and then perhaps either his lab assistant or I could help him with the lecture in and of itself for those who are not foreign speaking. But like I said, I am willing to dedicate a certain amount of my time in order to facilitate this. It seems that I've gotten involved in this without me really even wanting to be, but I'm in 100% now, so I'm fully committed.
No, excellent. That sounds wonderful. I do have one more request. If you could convey this to the
Of course, whatever we can do.
He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a book. He says, "Would Mr. Einstein be willing to autograph this for me?"
I sort of look concerned, and I sort of whisper in Tesla's ear, and the whisper is like, just nod. And German tell me I would love to, but I cannot right now. I have a special pen that I use for certain things. And
so he repeats that back to you in German. Right.
And he goes, and I'm like, I see. He would love to. If he could take the book with him, he has a special family heirloom pen that he uses for doing these things. He'd be happy to sign it to you, and I can return it to you tomorrow morning.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Of course.
Please convey my gratitude to the good professor.
Dankeschön. And I go, well, gentlemen, we're still a little bit lagged from our travel, and we've had a lot of preparation to go over. Dinner has been lovely, and the conversation with you gentlemen is always extremely intriguing and always appreciated. But it's getting late. I will take my leave of you.
Oh, very well. Please convey to him it's very nice to meet him. It's quite an honor.
Of course, and he says the honor was his. having traveled extensively, I have to tell you the quality and merit of the educational staff at this university is world class, sir.
Oh, very
And
kind.
it is my pride to be associated with you and this fine organization.
Very kind of you. Very kind of you. Well, you gentlemen have a good day.
Doctor,
Doctor?
take off.
Russian guy?
Russian
Okay.
guy.
All right.
Okay, so when I show up back at my house with this whole thing, I look like I just ran a marathon.
Flop sweat.
It's like flop sweat. He just, as soon as he walked out of the thing, he just like heaved the sigh and just started shaking and sweating. He was just barely holding it together. And how he's like, he goes home, he grabs a bottle from a drawer, pours something out and drinks it and goes, oh, that was the most nerve-wracking experience I've had in a very long time.
How did it go, Isadore? Did they agree?
They agreed.
Seemed
We've
very
managed
positive.
to talk them into it. We managed to use for Professor Einstein's language barrier to our advantage, and they seem to have bought everything hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, I knew you could do it. You are fantastic.
Basically, what I
And-
did is I spoke about the real emergency in regards to this experiment, and I guess my attitude came out sincere, since emotionally it is absolutely true.
And I will be helping teaching math class.
Let's
I'm
hope we get this
sure
done
that
quickly.
would be wonderful.
We'll figure that out. It's just they want him to speak, so I was just trying to dance around that. But
Well,
We'll be-
we have
we'll be getting the
time
equipment
on
we need.
that.
we'll be getting the equipment we need, and hopefully I'll be able to fill in and do some interference with that as well. So we'll see.
Wonderful. Did you negotiate Dmitri's salary as well, then?
No, honestly, that didn't run through my mind, although that probably would have been great. But Dimitri's free to
I
stay
can
with
get
me.
paid?
Well, if you do some work, you get paid. It's capitalism.
Well,
It's fine. I'll. You know what?
You know what? I have to return a book with an autograph that I have to spend all night trying to forge. So maybe I can just pen another letter asking for a small stipend, since it's going back to the right places anyway. So we'll take care of that as well. He didn't want to bring that up during the conversation because talking money over something as pleasant as this would be rude and unseemly.
And the chat room wants to know if Doris has forgery. I don't even know if this skill exists. They figured if anyone would have it, it would be you.
Yeah. I'm flattered. Thank
No
you,
such
chat room.
thing. No such thing.
is forgery a skill?
I don't.
No,
it's
it's
not written
not.
down.
No, it's not there.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
I feel like it's something that she would never have to do because she could talk her way into different things. Talking to people, giving her legitimate things or buy them herself.
That's probably true. Okay.
I feel like that would be in this skill set. It would be an art or craft.
I think that's correct. I would agree with
Oh,
that.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be a thing
I was
because
thinking
there should
we
be
did
another
that before.
publication with his signature that I have somewhere since I sort of collect his works and you can trace it maybe and just put it in.
Yeah, I was just looking up his signature, and there was a listing for $70,000 for a handwritten letter he wrote to someone. Most of them aren't that expensive. Most of them are over 1,000, but he must have given a lot if Einstein's signature goes for $1,000. But yeah, I'm sure you can do that. Maybe like just a simple.
Wow, you could actually find examples of his
Yeah.
signature online.
Yeah,
That's
they're
amazing.
there. Yeah. You can't read his last name at all. It's pretty typical of signature.
How about we do a library use to find a copy of the signature?
Okay, there you go.
I mean,
And
I already
then-
checked out all of Einstein's book from the library.
Right.
That's right. Because you didn't want anyone to get them.
Oh, sorry.
There's probably a whole stack of them. sitting on your end table or your entryway. Do you have an art skill?
Okay, that should be close. Sorry, there was like a fire truck or whatever going by.
You have an art skill in painting that might help.
Yeah, Camilla is. good at
I mean, I
painting.
do have an art skill in painting.
There you go.
I don't know that it'll help.
Yeah, it's the closest thing we have to be able to. Because really, what you're doing is you're tracing, so it has more to do with being accurate with your movements with your hand, I guess, than anything else.
So
I don't
what
know.
you're saying is I should be able to roll my art craft painting skill with advantage.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely what I'm saying.
Does this game?
Yes.
See, it's been so long since we played. Does this game have that?
Yeah, you roll
Well, you get-
two.
you roll- you get an extra-
they call it a
Two tens.
A bonus
Take
I
that
die?
don't know
as
if that's- yeah.
What do they call
No,
it?
you-
Tens place. Yeah.
Yeah, the tens place. So you roll 3d10. One is the ones, and then two the
That's called
the
a
top
bonus
end
dice. Yeah, so roll
Yeah.
2 tens die and one ones die.
Okay. Ones and tens. Hey. Thank goodness for advantage.
Yeah.
Rolled a 26 under my 29.
Oh, excellent. Okay, alrighty.
Unlike like every other time I've attempted to paint something in this game.
Okay, excellent. So you have a signature, and it looks pretty good. You're pretty happy with it.
Hey,
I mean,
Jim
if
puts Pooja on the spot, but it works out. Okay.
I mean, I really only have myself to blame here.
And I will pen the letter in my own hand, saying that it's translated for me as a request, and I also take that. And then tomorrow in the morning, I return the signed book, and I deliver the letter with the request to the Chancellor.
Okay.
Or Bursar, or whatever.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
And just on a side note, it's so incredibly lovely to see you guys. Again, haven't looked at Kimi or Dave in the face at all in quite some time. It's good to see you guys.
Alrighty.
Absolutely.
Anything else this evening? Nope. Nope. Okay.
I feel like that's quite enough for now.
Okay.
I'd probably go out and make sure we have food and stuff at the
Yeah.
house while they're doing all that.
Okay.
Just
Alrighty. It's approaching 7. I'm thinking this is a good end point.
How dare
If
you?
that works. Huh?
How dare you?
It is a good end point.
I think so, yeah. And we'll
ju-
now we've got our toes wet again. I think we'll be a little more in the flow of it next time.
Right, but I wanted to ask, just kind of for my own sake of game prep, because you guys are still, and the university is still kind of on hiatus. So once Tesla's set up, what do you think you guys are going to do? Because you have.
Did anybody translate the news story about the widows and needing veterans to help them to me? Because I don't read English.
Oh, I would have told you, like, I would have read it out
Okay.
loud to you.
Then I would probably push for us to head down there.
And I would push to track down the rest of Abigail's cadre.
Well, that gives me at least 2 branches.
I like both of those things, actually.
That gives me at least 2 branches to work on, which is much better than what I had before, which was I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
So,
I think that and just pushing for Tesla to be able to finish his machine.
Yeah, I think that Isadore, more than anything, is going to be working with Tesla, trying to make sure that everything stays on track with that, because he has to manage the university and he has to manage him and make sure that everything gets put together right. And he's the only one left that actually has a lot of like authority in the university outside of Camilla. But you know, it's well,
Camilla's
you and I
a
are you're the,
librarian.
well, you and I are the only ones that are really connected with the university, so we're the only ones that are really going to be able to have the position to actually facilitate any of this. So it's something that we really get to keep tabs on. And on top of that, we never know if Tesla himself is going to become another target if anybody finds out what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
James V is asking if we decided on the tone question.
Oh, I was wondering, did you guys, just because of what's going on with everything right now, what do you guys think about lightening up the tone some? I mean, it hasn't exactly been the sort of, like, super dark, angstful Call of Cthulhu game I was hoping for. But, I mean, I set the bar high, and we came in underneath it, but we didn't come in very far underneath it.
Well, I think that this game was a little playful in a way, but we haven't played in a while. I actually, in the previous episodes, I think we've been doing pretty good. We've been concentrating on the horror. We've been concentrating on the fact that our characters are very upset and not happy. And
yeah, but what I'm asking is, do we
only
want to
really when things have gotten really super tense and people have getting distracted, people come in and sort of put in a joke here and there as a tension breaker.
What I'm asking is, do we want to kind of loosen the reins on the tone and let it be a little more lighthearted?
I don't feel the need for that necessarily.
Okay, all right.
Just because it's so different. Like Hound of Tindalos is so different than anything that's really bothering us right now.
Okay,
like, in real life.
sure. Well,
So,
I'm going back to the I'm going back to the earlier stuff though. I'm going back to the earlier stuff when the game started in New York, and you're investigating these people who are intentionally going out and spreading these very dangerous diseases, if you may recall.
True. I didn't think about that part.
So
There's some of that, but at the same time, I feel like the tone that we have in the game is, while some stuff gets really dark, as a whole, we have a mix of that horror with lightheartedness that keeps it from being like a super depressing, triggering situation.
okay, I just want to kind of to check in about that.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, when horrible things happen, I think we do a pretty good job of being suitably horrified, right?
Yeah.
Like, when bad, horrible things are going on, we're all not like, oh, look, there's a yogurt dog. Like, that's not happening.
More than anything else, I get the sensation that everybody at this table is actually very cued in to what their character is like and has remained relatively loyal to that idea. So nobody's been going off on tangents that are silly or distracting or off of character. I think that everybody's been sort of on character, and I think, you know, a character like Doris's character is going to deal with these kind of things radically different than someone like Isadore. You know, different backgrounds, different coping mechanisms, so on and so forth. And I think that really, if you look at Camilla, you look at Doris, and you look at Isadore, and the way they've individually reacted to all of the crazy bullshit that's happened, it's all been very unique and all been very much a part of that character. And even to the point where Dave made decisions like going, you know what, I don't have any more story to tell with this character, let's move on with another one. So I think that as long as we all stay true to our character motivations and the way that our characters react to a lot of this light and dark, we're fine. I think the tone is fairly well established just because we know who we are.
Yeah. I do agree, like, the thing about the disease is a little on the nose right now, but I think in the story we've moved past that. That seemed to be, like, the beginning of the path, and now we're, like...
Well, that's one of the reasons...
There be monsters here.
That's one of the reasons I asked, because now you are back in New York.
Yes.
Where that all happened. So maybe that's something I'll kind of skim over or tweak a little.
That might be nice, a little bit.
Yeah,
it's a little too
it's
close to
something
home.
where it's, like, more of a... There were a lot of other things that could be happening besides a plague.
There's a lot of scary stuff, like,
absolutely,
you know, terrifying caves with faces in them and stuff like that. That isn't, you know, so on the nose to a pandemic.
Okay, no problem.
At the same time, if it's a cult that's spreading disease and we can go beat them up, that might not be terrible.
There's the empowerment fantasy of that as well.
Having a little bit of something you can do about the situation makes it a lot different.
It's kind of hard to dance around things that are a little bit traumatic and topical, right? But then again, you know, it also is one of the wonderful things about role-playing games is that you can use them to sort of like suss a lot of things out in a relatively safe environment to do so. I don't really want to trigger anybody nor upset anyone, but I'm personally not all that put off by the topical nature of a lot of the themes that we have in this game.
Why don't we think about it? Like, we don't have to say it right now. Why don't we think about it, like, have a little bit more time to reflect, and then we can add it. If anybody feels uncomfortable, they can add it to the Lines and Veils document we have.
Yeah.
And then that'll kind of solve the problem.
Yeah, if I can find that, may have to make a new one. I'll look and see if it's...
Not only that, but I also want to keep in mind that I want to satisfy the people that are watching this too, and if they want to see something a little bit different, I have no problem in modulating.
I would say that specifically, like, just a reminder to people who are watching now or listening later, or watching later, I guess you could do that too, that we do use safety tools. We use, like Kimi mentioned, we use Lines and Veils. We use an X card, so at any point, if this gets to be too much for any of us, we can tap out right then and take like a left turn.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
while currently I feel like the mix of light and dark that we have in this game is great for me.
Okay.
If it's not for somebody else,
Yeah.
let's adjust, because the most important thing is that everybody here at this table
Quote.
is comfortable.
Our table just got a lot bigger, that's all. Covers many square
Really
miles.
big.
It's virtually huge.
No more stealing Dave's beers, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, that is a sad part.
I can leave some on the
just-
porch if anybody wants to drive by before the game starts.
I'm just
So like
saying,
park in my
like,
driveway and run the air conditioner and like, use my Wi-Fi. That's fine too.
when games don't come with hugs, are they really even games?
All right. I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thank you for watching session 17
Yeah.
of Murmurs at the Abyss. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Sorry for being late on.
Along the shore, the cloud waves break. The twin suns sink behind the lake, and the shadows lengthen in Carcosa. Strange is the night where black stars rise. Strange moons circle through the skies. Much stranger still.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.
Why problem make when you no problem have you don't want to make?